Hello there and welcome to a very frigid granny's garden. It's windy, it's around freezing and it's thoroughly miserable, but we gardeners are made of tough stuff. So let's continue anyway. At this time of year I get little itchy fingers because we're very near, or we're probably past it actually, the end of the planting season. But I like to have a final trip to my local gardening centre, Fronda in particular, to have a look to see what's on offer. Being close to Christmas, they had the most glorious conifers. Spruces, Norways, absolutely gorgeous for use as a Christmas tree and then obviously for planting out in the landscape afterwards. But they also had other things on offer, some quite interesting things and very good condition. So what I want to do today is just to show you what I got and where I've got them planted. First up is the Helleborus. This particular one is a Helleborus Niger, and I've got it just tucked in between the Westringia and it's protected above by the Portuguese laurel. Lovely little plant. This one was planted last year. It got trampled on. It also got covered in the snowstorm with 3 foot of snow and also became 4 foot of snow after we shoveled the snow from the driveway over onto it. And it survived. So obviously a perfect choice. So I want to fill in this whole area little by little with different types of Helleborus. Finding it difficult, the only one on sale here in Spain for the moment seems to be the Helleborus Niger, the one that doesn't take kindly to being limbed up. So you don't sort of remove all the leaves, you just remove the dead leaves as they appear. The flowers start off this beautiful green with little flecks of pink and then they start aging to a creamy white. Absolutely delightful plant and obviously likes this place, so this is going to be filled in future with more Helleborus. Continuing in the woodland area, I've got a tiny little Sasanqua. This is a Camellia Sasanqua. Absolutely tiny, absolutely gorgeous and in full bloom. Now there are 2 types of Camellia, the Sasanqua and the Japonica. Now I'm just heading very quickly over to the shrub border so you can compare the 2. I've got 2 Camellia Japonicas here, one there and one over there. This one is going to be left as a shrub form. This one is going to be pruned little by little into a standard form. Now differences between the 2, between Sasanqua and Japonica. Well, in the Japonica, the leaves are larger. They can grow up to 4 inches long, whereas the Sasanqua has about 1 inch long. The flowers in this one are larger. This grows to be a lot larger. The Sasanqua is more contained. And the main difference is in bloom time. If I come close here, the Japonica, you see, has got its nice little buds for next year forming. Because this will bloom in late winter, early spring. Whereas the Sasanqua, as you can see, is blooming right now. This is Yuletide, which is a single red with the yellow stamens in the middle. If I can just pull this away, you can see the yellow stamens. Lots more buds opening. This blooms late autumn, early winter. So basically as soon as this finishes blooming, the other ones are going to start. Now I have this planted in the woodland area. They do like shade, particularly in hot countries. And if you are in a hot country like I am, that shade must be in the afternoon. So it's getting, as you can see, it's early morning now. The light is coming in here from the east. So it's going to get that early morning sun and then it's going to be well protected in the afternoon. Now, if it's left to its own devices, this will get to about 6 to 8 feet tall, which is absolutely fine because I wanted to grow up and cover this area by the new fence. But the great thing about this shrub, it can be size contained. It is very easy to control its size without wrecking the shrub. So looking forward to seeing that grow. You're only a wee little babby at the moment, but don't worry. We'll take good care of you until you grow up to be a big, huge bush covering all of this area. Perfect. Now, in the shrub border, you can see here my Viburnum Tinus. About 90% of all viburnums sold in garden centres here are this variety, the Viburnum Tinus. And I do like it, but I mean, I have had my eye out. I've been keeping my eye out for about 2 years for a Viburnum Opulus, which is a snowball one. I have wanted one for so long and they just don't sell it. So when I saw it on sale in Fronda last week, I just jumped at it. Let's hop down here. I'll show you where it was. Now I removed this. This is one of the Vanille Fraise that's very puny, definitely a runt of the litter. And what I've done is I'm lifting it, I put it in a big pot and I'm taking it now to the hospital section of the garden so it can recover and turn into a nice strong plant before I replant it into the landscape, maybe in about a year or year and a half's time. So in its place, I've put this gorgeous Viburnum Opulus, and unfortunately I'm not quite sure if it's the Roseum or not, because the Roseum of course is a sterile one and the other one isn't. But I'll soon find out. If it forms berries, well, it's obviously not going to be the sterile one. If you don't want it to go rampant, all you've got to do is after it flowers, give it a little shear off and don't let those berries form. But what gorgeous colour. Look at the autumn colours. Absolutely glorious. Can't wait for that to grow. Now I'm just pulling back here so you can get a better view of the situation. There's the rice plant there, which is absolutely wonderful. It's grown about tripled in size and will continue to grow to about yay high. This one hopefully will cover this entire area and also block off this fence. I've got the climbing rose there, which is up beside the Russian olive, and I think it's going to look absolutely stunning here. I can't get over those autumn colours. Aren't they just gorgeous? I think a perfect choice for this area. This is in the woodland area. This summer, this particular Abelia got a rejuvenation pruning, and I mean, I pruned the heck out of it. It got pruned down to 3 inches above the ground, also got thinned out. You name it, it got it. Abelias are so versatile. You can do anything to them, mistreat them, hack at them, and they'll always come back and look luscious and remain evergreen all year round. Really healthy, glossy leaves. But I got my hand on a beautiful variegata for the perennial border. So I'm now in the perennial and bulb border, which needs to be desperately cleaned out now for autumn and put to bed. There are some things still looking quite good. The little miniature roses are doing absolutely fine and are really in full bloom, absolutely gorgeous. Fuchsias are also amazingly doing well despite the really cold temperatures we've been having. I'm going to be wrapping them in bubble wrap very, very soon. Now I do actually have some shrubs in this border. This is a Cryptomera Valeriana. This is a very, very slow-growing dwarf Cryptomeria. And also the other side, I have tucked here at the back a little Ilex, little rascal, again very slow-growing holly. Delightful round shape, little globe shape. Now looking at it from the other angle, right here there used to be a lilac bush, a very old lilac bush that used to lean towards the sun. And it was totally out of proportion to what I wanted, which is a tiny shrub, perennials and bulb border. So I planted this Belia Variegata. At its maximum, it could reach 3 to 4 foot. But the great thing about Abelias is they'll be height-wise anything you want them to be. Absolutely anything. You can, as I said before, prune the heck out of them. Look at these colours on this Variegata. Those pink edges, the little white flowers, absolutely delightful shrub. A real pop of colour. Even when it's not in flower, it's still luminous. I'm probably going to let it get a little bit wider, but height-wise, maybe just a fraction, but not much. I'm going to be keeping it that nice round mounded shape. Pruning with this plant is going to be mainly just controlling the height. And of course, I always get in there in spring and try and thin out some of the branches on the inside. Just get in there, right down to the base. I'll show you that anyway in springtime when it comes to the pruning videos. Just get in there and remove maybe 1 every 4, 1 every 5 of those inner branches to let the air continue to circulate and keep that plant nice and healthy. Well, those are the additions, the latest additions and the final ones of the year to my shrub and woodland border, and also this perennial border. Not very many, but I think nice additions and a nice way to close the end of the planting season. And look forward to seeing them growing, of course, next season, next spring in particular, to see how they get on. Next week, I think I just want to tackle the containers in the porch. Just do something really, really simple. And I want to go foraging in the juniper forest I've got right in front of me on my doorstep and get some nice little branches and see if I can do something simple on those little garden containers. So for the moment, from me, I'm definitely going to have a nice cup of tea today because I'm absolutely frozen. My hands are absolutely, you can hardly move them. So heading off inside now, and I hope to see you next week and we'll tackle those containers. So for me, bye bye now.